And then there are three lies that we're covering that I'll go over briefly, and then we'll go back to where we left off in the last episode. The first lie that the enemy will tell you if you're running with vision is that circumstances are so bad it can't possibly happen now. That things have gotten so bleak and so bad that, and I guarantee you that the enemy's told every generation that, and yet we're still here. Every generation is looking for the end of the world to happen, for, we're going to fall off the edge of the earth, that things are going to come to a crashing halt, that things are worse than they've ever been. And so my response to that, and we're going to continue that, is simply this: God doesn't need the world's approval or cooperation to fulfill His promises in your life. Really, your future's determined by you and God. That's it. Now, the devil can't stop it. The economy can't stop it. Nothing in this world can stop God's will coming to pass in your life unless you give up hope, unless you give up faith. And that's the goal of the enemy, is to get you to be so discouraged you give up. And we're not going to buy into that for a minute. We don't lose and we don't quit. And if we don't quit, we don't lose. And so that should be our attitude, that we're not going to draw back. And then the next lie is, my mistakes have disqualified me. Because I made mistakes, now I'll never be what I was supposed to be or do what I was supposed to do. One of the examples I would give you for this is Rahab the harlot. And I don't have time to go into this too deeply, but Rahab was a Gentile woman in a Gentile city, Jericho, that was condemned to death. God told Israel, go destroy that entire city and everyone in it. And she was the lowest rung of society in that condemned city, Rahab. If anyone's mistakes or past life should have disqualified them from doing anything for God, it should have been Rahab. But when the spies came in and she received them and believed God, and in fact, she told the spies, your God that you serve is going to give you this land. I know it. Even some of the people here know it. When He does, don't forget me. That was the kind of faith that finishes the course. And so I'm not going to go through all the details, but this woman, this Gentile harlot, who had no standing in her own society, much less the people of God, she was sentenced to death by God. And her faith took her, and they did remember her. They didn't kill her and her family. They made her that promise. And when Israel established themselves on the other side in the promised land, she married in to the royal lineage. She became Rahab. She's in the New Testament. She became the great-great-grandmother of King David. So don't tell me your mistakes have disqualified you from being used by God. Don't tell me that your past life was so bad that God can't do anything with you now. That is a lie. Jesus came so that God can do anything with anyone. All that's necessary is you don't give up on the promises He made to you. Don't give up on the dream. Now make sure it's God's promise, not your own. Not you didn't make it up. But if God made a promise, it's still in force. Then finally, the third lie is, well, it's too late. If God was going to do it, He would have done it by now. And that's just not true. We don't tell God when or how to bring His word to pass. We simply believe another day. We run another day. We fall forward. We take another step. We carry the ball another yard. And if we'll do our part, God will do His part.